Welcome back to What Arty Noobs for General Disturbance. This is the VK16.02 Leopard. It's a tier 5 German light tank. It's located on the westbourne of Sand River, and it's under the command of GenFUBAR of the 1A clan. Now, he's actually armed himself with the 5cm main gun, which is kind of unusual. Game on! Yes, the 5cm is very unusual because normally people use the autocannon, the 30cm shell, which is actually capable of rattling off 10 shells in a very quick succession. These 0.5 or 5cm shells rather are capable of 70 alpha and 100mm of pen, and with the APCR rounds they're capable of 130mm of pen. It's a light tank that's good at ramming. And that comes from the design. Actually, it was based on the Panzer II Aslains J and combination with the Panzer II Aslains M. Two different designs, but they were trying to make a follow-up light tank that was more like the Panther. And in many ways, you can look at this tank and say, well, it kind of does look like a Panther because, of course, the hull, very well angled front. Now, they did make a dummy in May and June of 1942, and they actually made the first prototype on the 1st of September 1942. They were planning to make 339 of them in total. Shell hit the target, but just didn't go through. But, and the first batch was supposed to be made by December of 1943. They were going to make 105 by then, and they were hoping to make another 150 after that, but they were going to start mass production in April of 1943, but the project was cancelled in May of 1943. So 1 month after they were planning to start, they never started it, and in fact actually it went out the window. That's why it's a VK, an experimental design that was never put into production. Just the prototypes, that's all. Now, the design is actually very rigid. It's got the capability of taking the punishment by ramming into an enemy tank, and you might look at it and say, well, the VK16.02 that came after this in the tech tree, which is another design that they've got actually produced, looks very, very similar to this vehicle in that it's got the angled front. Now, it's got a view range of 360 meters. There's a VK16.02. You can see the family resemblance. This one looks like a baby brother to the VK16.02. Now, the 5cm gun, as I say, it's not the ideal gun, and that was a little too high to actually hit the T1 Heavy. I think he's got very little hope of hitting those ones. We appear to have the south of the map at the moment, where you can see GenFUBAR is actually driving around and watching the action that's going on as he's driving around without, not looking directly in the direction he's travelling. He's kind of keeping a third-person view so that he can move about without actually crashing into anything. Now he's possibly got a shot. No, a little too late on that one. You need to lead the target just a tad to try and get the engine bay. As that VK gets closer, you should be able to get direct shots by aiming at them. We've just lost our SU-122A because he was sitting in a bush where he was obviously spotted. He was firing from that position. Okay, now he's got shots. Again, unfortunately, he didn't have the full outline. It looks like we're about to lose our BP as well. They've stopped at that drop into the river course, and I think they're about to kill our BP. And he didn't do anything to stop that, but there was an awful lot he could do because there were two enemy tanks there, both of which were capable of taking him out. So the best thing he can do is snipe at them with this 5cm. Don't want to get in the way of the Nashorn though. He actually could get in the way of the Nashorn at the moment. There's a Porlac tank there now as well. It was the VK16.02 and of course the Type 58, but both of those have gone down. Now the Jackson's suddenly turned up. He's gone down the river course, but we did get spotted, so he's going to try and intercept them. Yeah, the Porlac tank turned up out of nowhere. I think he was just coming back to help out. The Jackson's just around the corner, so now we just poke over the edge. The under pressure on this one is 10 degrees, but he might have to perch over the edge just to get the gun to go down on him. I think the Porlac's taking advantage of that Jackson. Oh, we've got a T-3485's just turned up. So now I think we do have to try and help the Porlac out. Don't go down there. Yeah, go down just around the corner. That's it. No. Oh, the Porlac tank's going to be in trouble. The Jackson's firing in 19mm rounds. Okay, we're perching out over the edge. Well, the Porlac's killed the... he's killed the Jackson, but now we're dealing with that T-3485M. Now, he can get him from here. Auto aim on. Keep pumping those shells in. Go for it. Well, we did lose the Porlac. Yeah, that 85mm shell, and the enemy guerrillas now firing at us. There's 4 left on either team. The T-3485 for a moment thought that he could actually take out this Leopard. Okay, we're not unspotted. That guy is a bit of an amateur. Doesn't know his T-3485 very well. No, I think actually we need to go down to the far end and come round in order to get shots on that guy. Forward speed of this thing is 60 kilometers an hour. Reverse speed is only 22. Can he get a shot? Yes, he can, but he's overcommitted, and now he's possibly going to go over the edge. He's pumping rounds into that T-3485. Yeah, you got overcommitted there. Oh, mama. Well, he survived, but he did get a critical hit because he knocked out off his track. Looks like the Nashorn survived as well, and I don't think the enemy Arty knows where we are, so that's why he's okay. And he's fixed his track and it's all off again. Well, there's only 2 enemy left, the Gorilla and their Panzerfire Aslains H. Now, he could have the 105mm gun, but we've got plenty of hit points to spare, which means that, yes, we can go at it. Now, the 13mm cannon, by the way, that would have been much better off if he'd actually had that, because he could have pumped a whole clip into the side of that T-3485M, and that really would have upset that guy a lot. Okay, just poke out. Now, can we see him? Yes, we can. And he is getting pens on the turret. I'm not sure if that one went in. I think that one did. Yeah, possibly those 2. Pretty sure the guy would have moved by now. These shells aren't doing anything. No, that one went on. And again. No, that one ricocheted at the end. Okay, he's asked for... Well, in fact, actually, now the enemy have brought it down to 2 versus 2. And the Nashorn has asked us to help him out. The Nashorn's going after the Gorilla. As far as we can see, the Panzerfire Aslains H is actually still got most of his health. Remember, it's only 70 alpha, it's not a huge amount. So a couple of those shells, if they did actually hit the Panzerfire, I think the Panzerfire would have taken quite a lot. Now, don't go over the burns, over the dunes too heavily, because you will knock the tracks off. I know a lot of players love to rev their engines up. You can also see the suspension system is the same Schachtel Laufwerk that the Tiger tanks have. the interleaved wheels, which actually interlock, but it spreads the weight of the vehicle. Caution bar suspension as well. Very much looks like a junior version of a Panther in many ways. Would have been interesting if they'd actually made it, but I think they just needed the factories to produce other tanks. And the tanks at the time that they were manufacturing were either the Panther or the Tiger 1. Now, hasn't found them. He's thinking of having a quick look. Is there anybody down there? No. The Nashorn's waiting for us to spot. We found somebody. Somebody saw us. And I'm pretty sure it's the gorilla. We don't want to get hit by a gorilla shell. But we've got to find the enemy. Now, will we get spotted again when we go around here? I'm pretty sure we will be, because I think he's in the bushes in that ridgeline. But the moment we get spotted and he fires, that's the end of him, because he will get absolutely hammered by the Nashorn. No. Keep swiveling your head to try and find out where the enemy is. This is why it's very useful to hold down your right hand mouse key and then move your mouse so you can actually look around whilst you're holding your gun in one particular position, normally straight forward. A lot of players told me that they actually do hold down their right hand mouse key most of the time when they're moving about, so their gun's always facing direction of travel. People have got a tendency, you see, to keep looking around their vehicle without actually turning their, keeping their barrels straight. And as a consequence, the turret turns as they look to their right or to their left. And you want to keep your gun pointing forwards, because you never know from which direction the enemy's going to come, but it's more than likely going to come from in front of you. Now, I'm not sure why he did that either. He could have actually used that for cover whilst he was hiding in the cap. And at the moment, it looks to me like the Nashorn has decided to stay outside the cap and watch for any movement towards this cap so that he can then get a shot at them beforehand. The gorilla's obviously moved into cover somewhere. We were spotted when we made the initial approach, and we've been spotted again. Okay, so he's changed position. I rather think that whoever it is actually sitting in that ridgeline above the, in the bushes, above the river, the north side of the bank. So he's staying active now, but I have a feeling, yep, somebody's going to fire at him. And in fact, it is the gorilla. Now, he can auto-aim on. He did auto-aim on, but actually, auto-aiming on probably wouldn't have worked. Oh, don't leave. Oh, he left. Oh, go kill the gorilla. That's compensation for the fact you did leave the cap area. So he's... Go again. Ow. Yes, he did get a hit and a penetrating shot. I think they're from the gorilla. Hold on to your shell. Watch out, because the Panzer might be to your right. And now we are one shot. Well, not a one shot. Well, a one shot if he's got the 105mm gun. You're playing with him at the moment. He's wondering what you're doing. Now, you can kill him now. Oh! And he mucked it. He's shot up. Oh, you just go around and kill him. There you go. Oh, but now you stuck yourself. Turn sideways. Turn on. Turn. That's it. Unfortunately, because you came out of the cap area, we now have to find and kill that Panzer Fiat Aslains H. Because if we don't, we won't win the game. The Nashorn's moved closer to the cap area, but he also knows now that we gave it away. If we'd stayed in the cap, within a couple of seconds, we would have got an invader medal, even if the gorilla was still sitting outside the cap area. There he is. One shot, and he gets the kill that wins the game. So at least it recovers a win for us. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was a second-class tanker for GenFUBAR 1AR in the VK16.02 Leopard. In fact, it was the first time he's ever had a second-class tanker in this game, because you can see the scrolls are underneath the 2, and that means it's the first time he's had it. He also managed to get a fire for effect for doing more damage than the hit points for his own vehicle, and his win rate in the game was 6,056, which is Super Unicum standard. So let's have a look at the team score and see what he managed to get. Well, the highest damage in the game actually went to the VK16.02 on the enemy team. He actually got 2,580 hit points, and he picked up the high caliber. Second highest damage went to the Nashorn on our team, who got 1,897. And the third highest damage, well, that went to a Panzerachtenreißig Aslains K on our own team, who actually got a Leverslaeus medal. So he was a tier 5 in a tier 6 game, and he killed tier 6s, so that's why he got that medal. When we look at GenFUBAR, he actually got 1,209 hit points, but there are 2 players higher than him on the enemy team, 2 players higher than him on his own team, which puts him in 5th place when it comes to damage. When it came to kills, though, the high scorer was the Nashorn. 4 kills went to him. 3 kills went to the VK280105 and also to the Team 1 Heavy on the enemy team. And 2 kills went to the Panzerachtenreißig K, the GenFUBAR's Leopard, the Paulak tank, the Box tank, and an Achilles on his own team. And on the enemy team, only their Gorilla and the Jagdpanzer IV, the flat tank, managed to get 2 kills. When it came to base XP, we can see it's the Panzerachtenreißig K again, who managed to get 1,002, just over 1,000. He was the only player who managed to get over 1,000, whereas the Nashorn got 774 and Leopard in 717. So GenFUBAR, 3rd place on this occasion. Let's have a look at detail. Well, he fired 39 rounds in the game, got 21 direct hits and 17 penetrations. 1,209 hit points of damage, of which 591 were at more than 300 meters. He did receive 1 hit. It was a penetrating shot. Well, technically, it was an Arty hit because the Gorilla hit him twice during that game. Once from long distance using an HE round, and once using a heat round. That round that actually hit him whilst the Gorilla was below him in that dugout area, that was a heat round, and it went right through. And because it has a 350 alpha, that's when he lost most of his hit points. The hit there where it says splash, that was the hit earlier in the game when he was looking at the T-3485M, and the Gorilla fired from right the other side over the battlefield, all the way over, and managed to splash him for about 50 hit points or thereabouts. So yes, that's when he lost the initial tiny amount of hit points. Damage 5 of the enemy, killed 2, did 351 hit points of damage assistance in the game. That's spotting. On a premium count, he earned 27,838 credits from that game. He did get the reward for completing holiday ops, and he also got 8,069 experience points out of that game as well, including holiday ops of 6,456. And that's going to be very welcome if he's actually working his way up to getting the 30cm gun. I think the 30cm gun's a lot more fun in terms of you can drive up to an enemy tank, blast them with those shells, and then quickly run away before they can do anything about it. And of course, as you saw there, he was able to ram the Gorilla by actually just jumping on top of him. But yes, do watch out if you don't want to get stuck after you ram somebody. But he could have done that the first time after the guy fired the first time, because of course the Gorilla does have a fairly long reload. So he could have just driven straight in and done it, but he actually held back. And I'm wondering if his hesitation was something to do with about the Panzer IV, that he was worried that that guy was suddenly going to appear out of nowhere. Anyway, it was a good game. It was an interesting game, but I wouldn't have knocked down that camp in the center of the map. If that camp had stayed there, I think the Gorilla would have had difficulty trying to get a shot on him because he was actually behind it. So don't knock down any obstructions in the enemy cap when you're trying to hide. But definitely knock it down in your own cap, because you don't want the enemy to hide behind anything. So there you go. We've got another replay coming up from GenFUBAR very shortly, so please do stick around for that one. And if you enjoyed this one, please give it a like, and thank you for watching.